Right. Assalamu alaikum. Hello, everyone, and a very good evening, and a warm welcome to all from AsiaHRM. AsiaHRM is the largest network of HR professionals from Asian continent, and which professionals from many Asian countries share their perceived knowledge, exchange ideas, communicates in peer, and participates in various online sessions on different relevant topics. We share to care and care to share. AsiaHRM runs various training programs, monthly knowledge sharing session, topical surveys, online HR certification programs, HR book clubs, HR mastermind sessions, and other HR events and conferences. AsiaHRM values passion, excellence, and nurture knowledge sharing. AsiaHRM's vision is to be the most reliable leading voice for Asian HR community and make the community a better place to grow through common vision. Myself, Zakir Abdullah, country lead AsiaHRM Bangladesh and one of the core committee members of AsiaHRM, is very delighted to arrange another mastermind session once again as part of our regular activities. In this journey, we have covered many different topics, which we have found many inquisitive ideas and perceptions from many different angles. Today, we'll share our thought and further discussion on one of the most popular topics at present, business world, that is leadership. I think everyone here wants to be leader. I guess I'm right? Everyone wants to be leader. Yeah. So, but we all know it takes a lot to be such leader who can create such an influence to form a pack of followers. And at the same time, he or she can lead the business to the ultimate success. So what it takes to be the leader, what is your most powerful leadership technique? How can a person become a better leader? There can be many different ideas may come up in this discussion, but most importantly, what are the ideal and relevant attributes that we can apply in our personal and professional life as a practice, which will build a prerogative and insightful leadership quality among us. So to discuss this on, we have a distinguished speaker among us today, and it is my pleasure to introduce Ms. Dia Aisha Ambarvati, Country Head of Human Resources, Sun Life Financial, Indonesia, an experienced human resource practitioner and a demonstrated history of working in the life insurance, hospitality, marketing, communications, and educational fields for 27 years. She has strong human resource profession with a Master of Science from the University of Manchester, United Kingdom, focused in the International Development Program. And Master of Arts concentrated on international communications and business development from London School of Public Relations, Jakarta. A great professional leader among us. Thank you, Dia, for coming here and giving us your valuable time. Well, we have planned to run our today's mastermind session into 3 parts, starting from keynote speaker session by Dia, followed by an open question answer session, then regional survey results sharing on different dimension on leadership aspects, and finally group discussion and team. So during key speaker session, I would request my participants, if have any relevant questions, we'll take all the questions after our speakers have finished their session. In the meantime, please write down your questions in the chat box that are provided, and we'll take the question from there for further furnishing. So I think we have taken much time. So without further delay, now I'd like to invite Dia for her thoughtful and profound speech on leadership. Over to you, Dia. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Jaker. Assalamualaikum, my fellow colleagues from Bangladesh and other countries in Asia. Bismillah. I will try to share my thoughts basically. And since AsiaHRM statement is sharing is caring, although Jaker mentioned that I'm the keynote speaker, I do hope I will also learn from you, because that's the way it works, and that's the way it has been proven successful in AsiaHRM, right? So when we talk about leadership is particularly in our context, is basically leading ourselves, right? How we would project, how we would present ourselves in front of the people who we lead. And when we say that people who we lead, it's basically the organization as a whole, but at the same time, the people who are uh, connected and related and operating the business. So basically, in our context, it should be ourselves that we need to lead. It's our organization, and it also the business. So that's how we can, put our focus are, especially because uh, nowadays HR is no longer perceived as personnel department, right, where we merely do administrative works, right, but we also play a part in business. We also make decisions for our organization, and how our decision is also giving an influence to the business. I mean, to the kind of people that we need to recruit, to the kind of talent that we need to retain, and to what
Can I
kind of
continue
leadership,
on the
and to what kind of leadership culture that we want to maintain to ensure that the organization is perceived or projecting synergy between the business goal as well as the business strategy, right? So that's something that we need to learn. We need to learn together in this case. I managed to source 10 of characteristics of a good leader from the Center for Creative Leadership. That first and foremost, a good leader should have an integrity. When I said that being a leader is also leading ourselves, integrity is a part of it. You know, integrity is something where we should do right. We have to do right whenever people don't see it. So it is like the hygiene and sanitation for us
এটাকে
to
01 দেন তো দেখার নম্বর
lead,
আছে না হ্যাঁ
yeah, to lead
এটা নি
ourselves,
01
right? So so that's the most important thing, you know. I just would like to share a context in my industry, for example, where we need to take care of the clients, and therefore we also need to project the prudence, the integrity of the organization, meet our promises to the clients, and that's also something that should reflect inside too, right? So we need to ensure we need to ensure that it will be in place, yeah. And integrity is something to do with our honesty, with our work ethic, right? The way we the, the way we treat people, and the way we speak, and the way we present ourselves. So that's basically what lingers around integrity. And then the second thing that may be taken into account is the ability to delegate. Where we are right now, um, we are no longer an operational person. Well, I don't know. Some company who has quite high maturity level in terms of their tools, infrastructure, strategy, and everything may um, may put a very strategic human resources lead in their country, right? But some company who are who I mean, which is moving towards to be more mature, or in the journey of getting mature, probably still have to juggle on the administrative task, on the operational task, and spending a little less on the strategy, right? But probably when we are reaching at but eventually we are going to go there, right? So we need to possess the ability to share our job to our team, because this is also a journey for their development too, right? uh, the ability to delegate is simply um, or can be obtained by knowing or setting up the priorities that we have, right? Probably we all know about the four quadrants of high importance, and then high urgency, low urgency, and then high importance, something like that. When we know that a work or a task is low urgency and then low importance, maybe we should get away from that. But if it is a low urgency and then high importance, that's the part where we need to delegate to our team. And being able to delegate to our team means we also need to know the potentials that we have in our team, right? If, for example, we have 5 members of team in your HR team, maybe we should be able to identify which will be the correct person to delegate. And being able to delegate is also quite well known by leave them alone kind of leadership. When you know that you have a member who is very ambitious, who is willing to learn, who perform very well, that's basically the right person to be delegated to. But delegating doesn't mean you just give your work, right? Delegate also means that you need to give them a clarity. Clarity means the context of the job. Why is it done and how it should be ending up, right? And then probably in this case, you can also guide them on the resources that would be available for them to do the job, right? And then more importantly in delegating is that you need to trust. I understand that when we become a leader and we look past our operational experiences, we tend to have, the need to be involved again. So we meddle in while we said that we want to give you a delegation, right? So in this case, probably we need to bite our tongue a little bit or hold our hands a little bit, not to meddle in, but to give them trust. When they do a good job because they are able to do the delegated work, praise them. Praising is also having its own ethics, right? It is also a forum of acknowledgement of somebody's achievement, right? So you may want to consider praising them in front of the related people that are close to them as the stakeholders. So it will give them a more credibility, and people also trust them, not only us as the leader. And then more importantly, something to do about delegating is also to give them the room. To give them the room to move around, to play, to explore, and to expose themselves in many resources that we have introduced to, right? So this is going to be another, experience for them, that and that they will feel that, oh, the trust is really there. The trust is real. It's not on lips only, you know. So this is something that is related to delegate. Next, the third, character of a good leader is the ability to communicate. especially in pandemic situation. I experience communicating is super challenging. You know, I'm a very straightforward person. You know, it is very easy when we do things face to face, but when things were sort of in confusion due to pandemic, we were sort of trying to get our grip on what is the right thing to do. Virtual conversation came to rescue, and Zoom was the only avenue at that time that was starting the whole journey of virtual communications, right? So I have to learn about Zoom. There are so many technicalities and ethics that we need to understand about virtual communications. I remember I had to spend, I usually have a HR huddle for 15 minutes, uh, maximum 30 minutes to talk about the key points of our activities uh, for the week, right? But I spent more time. I even told them we can talk as long as we want, you know, because that is also acknowledging what they are encountering, what they are experiencing during this pandemic, right? Is there any difficulty? You know, do you have any internet issue? Do you have any other infrastructure issue? Is your chair at home comfortable? Can you work without noises? You know, without children running around, something like that. Later, we found out. We started to find our grip, right? Oh, this is the way to communicate in pandemic. So we get the hang of it. So when we get the hang of it, we can always renew our so-called contract in terms of communicating. Now that we are getting there, what do we do next? You know, can we go back to the 15 minutes huddle? We can over the course of time. And this is without realizing it. Communication, especially during the pandemic, would be the powerful strategy to ensure that the engagement is intact, to ensure that we are still passing on the business strategy or the organizational strategy to our people within the organization, right? So I think communication is also something about um, ensuring if we can maximize what is available in our organization. It can be a town hall, it can be focus group discussion, it can be surveys, it can be a quick call, a personal call, you know, it can be probably a social media design for the organization, anything, you know. Something that we need to realize as a leader is how our interaction or our communication can be setting the tone, can be influencing them to still do the action that is intended by the organization. And then the next character that I would like to share is about self-awareness. I think as a leader, we need to know who we are, what we are, right? And just for example, by MBTI, I'm an ENTP. I'm very high in thinking, but very low in feeling, right? And I communicated that to them. I told them I'm a very straightforward person. I'm idea generated person. I like generating ideas. I'm very extrovert. You know, my extroversion rate in MBTI is 100%. No kidding, right? Probably it's quite unusual. But that's what I am, and that's what I told them. But I also at the same time uh, use the chance to know them as well. So I remember we conducted the whole HR team MBTI sessions because we really want to get to know each other. And at the same time, we have some new onboarding staff joining my team. And at that time, we managed to analyze our group, and finally, our group is rated as ESFJ. You know, uh, we are approachable team of people. We are using data because we are sensing. Yeah, we feel because we want to get connected with people, and we deliver our promise. J is basically judging, and it is something to do with time management. So that's how we expose ourselves as a team. So can you realize when I say that self awareness was started from me telling what I am to them, but at the end of the day, I want us together in the HR team to introduce ourselves of who we are together. You know, so the whole stakeholders know who we are. So it's not only about you, it's also about the team that works together with us. So that's how I perceive self-awareness in this case. And then next is gratitude. I think in the earlier, stage, I mentioned about uh, in communication is thanking the people around who were able to do the delegated work well. Excuse me, let me mute myself for a while. All right. So in this case, gratitude means being able to showcase our gratitude to the team at the right time, at the right moment, when we see a good performance taken place. But it is not only limited to our team, but it is also to the team beyond us, beyond HR, within the organization. Basically, gratitude is also an essential character to showcase our humility as a human being, you know, whether we also acknowledge the others' existence around us, right? And then the next characteristic, which is the sixth characteristic in this case, is the learning agility. I want to share with you a real life story. It was once in an organization that I've been working with, no, that I have worked with before, that I haven't actually graduated from my bachelorship, right? But I joined that organization because the organization was, uh, I mean, the head of HR position has been vacated for 2 years for no specific reasons. They just didn't get the right people to sit there, you know. And then I was hired to lead the organization. I mean, in HR department. And then I just realized I had an amazing team. I had people who graduated from reputable university and coming from specific, HR majors, and they are basically highly educated people. And I just hadn't finished my bachelor. at that time. To me, education is only a formal way of, you know, justifying that you have certain knowledge or um, ability by paper. You know, I was not a believer of formal study back then. So I thought diploma was sufficient because I had an extensive, experience. But I told myself, if I don't catch up with them, probably they would see me differently, regardless my extensive years. It's just human being, right? So I started to catch up my bachelorship. Little did I know that that education was very addictive. So I rushed up my education. Um, I quickly, sign up for mastership program, and then once it was done, I moved on to another mastership program. And then not only there, I also continue with the recent, informal education, like making sure I know about risk management. That is why I'm also a qualified manager, certified. And then I also learn about agile methodology. And just last year, I managed to get certified as a Scrum Master. And now I'm still leading one of the squad in my organization in Scrum. Okay. I also need to, but learning agility is also not about myself. Again, when it comes to learning, what is it for? Who are we kidding, right? So after all those two masters, is that all? It has to be somewhat useful, right? For people around us. So when you learn agile, what does it mean, right? So I started introducing that to my CEO, who at that time, the focus is still all about business. And then I just proceeded. And at that time, I didn't really get a buy-in of why doing agile now? It is not our priority, right? But I just did it. I didn't need her approval to proceed with agile knowledge. I collected some group of people that is going to be benefiting from the program. And then suddenly, when we had this cultural transformation program and we implemented Scrum, it came as a big pride from Indonesia because it was introduced to the president of Asia, right? And then just recently, two of my staff, my HR staff, suddenly got, uh, an acknowledgement as Scrum Masters and development team in non-HR project. It's the project is basically maintaining the sustainability of the client persistency in our organization. So when I said that leadership is also about leading your business and leading your organization, I hope I don't sound bragging in this case about my team who were selected to be the Scrum Masters of a business squad, of a business project. And I think that's the ultimate learning, agility that is relatable to the organization and to my team in particular. And then the seventh character is influencing. When we were communicating, we are actually not communicating. We are influencing people. We want them to produce an intended character that reflects our culture within the organization. So there are many techniques in influencing. So it's and it's basically can be coaching, It can be, what do you call, simply ask them to join us. It can be an instruction. It can be an inspirational action that you can do for them to follow you. Yeah. So following is probably the first reaction of influencing. But furthermore, if our influence can make them another leader, can produce another leader, or can showcase strong leaderships, that should be an ultimate product of influence, right? And then moving on the eighth characteristic is empathy. At the end of at the end of the day, we are human resources, right? There is human worth before resources, right? And empathy is highly needed in our relationship, in the organizational communication, in the organizational context, especially in pandemic. Yeah, empathy is putting ourselves on their shoes and trying to get the solution together from different perspective, from the people's perspective. So empathy is one of the characteristics that is essential in leadership. The other thing is also courage. Courage is the ninth character according to Center for Creative Leadership. Courage means being able to stand up, being able to communicate something sticky, to put forward what is the status quo, to express, you know, the concerns. So courage means a lot in this case. And sometimes courage also means to swallow. I don't know. Correct me if I'm wrong. I can be wrong in this case. But courage also means sometimes swallowing our pride and then putting aside our ego to be able to what do you call, to be able to listen, to be able to hear, you know, different perspective. At least that's the courage to ourselves to manage our ego. Because at the beginning, I say that being a leader is also to be able to lead yourself, right? And then lastly, or the 10th character is respect. Yeah. Respect means respect each other for they are. And this involves the rest of the characteristics that we have discussed before. And this is something that complements each other. So I think that's the 2 cents of a quick characters. I know there are some questions coming already in the chat box. I think it's the time for me to answer that, right, Jaker?
Yeah. Yeah. We have 3 questions so far, and we've got to start with this question from Mr. Aminul Haq. He asked, should a leader expose him or herself or wait to be proposed as a leader by other people? What do you think on it? Thank you.
Okay. We always, okay, leader seat is very limited, right? Therefore, my answer is that you should be able to expose yourself. You need to show that you want it, that you have the ambition, that people will pick you because you also want it, because it is easier. Most of the time, what stumbles leadership is not what you cannot do. it is whether you want to do it or not. So if you want to do it, you should be able to expose yourself. Don't wait.
Yeah, I also agree with that, because a leader should come forward with their own thought, and he should have a command. He should have a voice that I want to do it. How many others can follow me? Yeah, of course. Okay, we can go down to the second question that came up from Mr. Alvin Barnabas. He asked, leadership sometimes may arise to confliction between teams or individuals. So how can we manage this as a good, effective leader to resolve the conflict resolution, being a leader? What's your thought on it?
Right. Yeah. As we have climbing up as a leader, conflicts is basically a part of our breakfast, right? And I'm sure everyone here has already had something under your belt, experiencing how the operational was done, you know, and had sufficient knowledge how a conflict can be resolved, right? And actually, Alvin, you are pointing to a very good key here. You mentioned about teams. That means you are working together. So we can collaborate to remove the conflict, to find the solution together. And we can display the 10 characteristics that I just shared, right? That means we need to know in our teams what kind of capacity they have, right? Who can be your quick wins, right? That you can delegate to, who can at the same time co-lead the team besides yourself, right? And I actually experienced that the conflict was simply because they they underestimated me because I didn't have the background, right? It was a personal conflict. But I also identified it is something to do because they don't know me yet, right? So I apply the personal relationship, approach to the specific person to at the same time expose. I'm using your word, Mr. Muhammad Aminul, to expose myself that this is who I am. Yes, I'm new in this field. That is why I need you. And what I did was also showing self-awareness, which is one of the characteristics, and also courage, because I have to be able to be honest, right? I don't know. That is why I seek for your help. As a leader, I don't always know the answer, right? That's only one of the examples that we that I can share with you, because it is very real.
Yeah, I think, yeah.
Yeah,
Conflict
and
resolution.
yeah, a conflict resolution in our culture in Asia is best solved by relating or engaging them personally. It may take time, but that's how it works. We are
Absolutely.
not,
Thank you.
yeah, we are not people from Europe where they are straightforward, getting
Yeah.
into a debate, getting into hot discussion and finish it there. We are not like that. We need a touch of personal relations in this case, right? I hope that answers.
Yeah, I think, yeah, he got the answer. I think he pointed out the right things, actually, because in scenario of us, from Asian scenario, we have to deal problems and the conflicts in our own way that doesn't relatively goes with the European standard. Yeah, we have to deal the problems with our own way, most culturistic way, I think. Yeah, thank you. That's a nice answer to us. Well, we've got another question probably very relevant, and from Ritika, the same question, I think similar questions she asked, right? How should a leader handle the dispute or disagreements with the team? His leader should be empathetic. Yeah.
Okay, right. I would like to share my experience handling two unions in my organization before. One is the one that is supportive to management, and the other one is opposing the management. At that time, due to the culture of the organization, what we did, I was still training manager back then, but that gives me a privilege to be more liquid, to be more versatile within the organization, because I'm not the head of HR who they hate. Right? I can move anywhere, right? So what I did was to support my director of HR at the time, to give her the specific names that can be embraced, that can be appointed as informal leader. Actually you can influence these people. We can get our message through them. And it worked. It worked because again, it's also about personal relationship. They basically need a media to express themselves. We give it. We give the stage. So the dispute was so obvious at that time. I recall we had 3 long tables representing the 2 unions and management, and I was sitting there supporting the management team. And we finally can communicate our differences, although we are unable to make everyone happy, because when it comes to regulations, when it comes to some principles, that's something to do with the integrity of the organization, and that comes as number 1 characteristic of the leader. If the dispute hovers around integrity, we cannot compromise, because it is a reputable risk, right? But if it is something that we can solve together, why not? And this is where listening displays empathetic approach. Listening, and then we repeat, right? We rephrase what they say to ensure that we also understand. And then we action. So empathetic has 3 journeys in this case. Listen, and then repeat to seek for same understanding and action. Because if we just listen, it is not empathy, right? We just show sympathy. I hope that answers.
All right, thank you. Thank you, Dia. What was a wonderful answers from you for all the questions you've got. And we can straight go down to our the sessions we're about to start. And now I'm going to share my screen to all of you to start our Bangladesh Asia Mastermind session based on the topics of several other leadership attributes and other the regional survey reports and the team discussions. Well, thank you. In regards to that, during the breakout sessions, I'll be requiring some facilitators. I guess I'll be choosing Dia and Marie. Marie, can you be the facilitators for the breakout rooms, including me? Dia and Marie,
yeah.
Would that be okay for you?
No worries.
All right, thank you. Thank you. Great, thank you. Okay, let me share my screen. All right. I think everybody can see my screen. Here we go. That's Bangladesh AHM Mastermind session. And we have our guest speaker, the conversation, and I've got the question and answer session all done. So we have to show the Bangladesh survey report on leadership, and we'll have some small team discussions later part of this. Right. So as you can see, that qualities that a leader should possess to overcome business challenges. You can see, that's a highest number that came up on the percentage of the attributes that we can expect from a leader, being a quality to possess, that the decision-making capabilities and honesty and integrity that stand upon at 18%, while the others were like 14% for inspiring others, empowerment for 11%, and commitment and passion is 11%. Well, I would say, yeah, that the most popular and one of the most practiced qualities that a leader should possess that comes up like from honesty and integrity and the decision-making capabilities. The next, the behaviors of a leader to lead the organization, overcoming the business challenges, and being a leader or a departmental head for a big company is also considered to be as leader. He must have some behavioral qualities that to overcome the challenges that may or that he or she can face upon towards achieving the company objectives, so that we can see that the highest percentile we have seen that the be proactive. Leaders should create an example by being the proactive, so that will make others to create an impact over others to become proactive like the leader. So that's the highest percentile we've got. And next to it, we can see that the look for opportunities to collaborate. Well, they are just to say that in due course of conflict resolution issue, collaboration would be a great resolution point. Also, of course, the look for opportunities to collaborate. And the other parts that we have seen, the results be creative, reach out for help, retain objectivity, face conflicts quality, and be resilient. Those are the other parts that I've seen throughout the survey results. Leadership behavior that hampers business growth. We can actually admit that leaders should possess such a good quality of language communication, and whoever has the quality to impact over others throughout his communication ability of choosing the right word. So here, leadership behavior that hampers business growth. So you can see that aggressive attitude that comes up throughout the behavioral language. We can see it could be body language, it could be impression, it could be facial language, or it could be the communicative language we use during talking. So the aggressive attitude comes up through different impression we carry out. So the aggressive attitude that really hampers the business growth in either way you can say. So leaders have to be empathetic, compassionate, and also being controlled towards their behavioral thing with others, colleagues and their co-workers. And the other points we have seen, the abrasive language, dishonest, unethical, timid, racism, and harassment. So those are the coherent attributes of seen throughout the survey result in this entire scenario. Well, so we can go back that qualities a leader should possess and behaviors of a leader to lead the organization to overcome business challenges, and leadership behavior that hampers business growth. Now, we'll have some small group discussion on top of that 4 questions we have seen. So we'll just break out rooms into 3 different groups. I would request Rita to break out rooms within a minute, whether I will go for the question for Dia to go for number 2. Do you agree that someone having these top 3 qualities would essentially be a good leader? Can you share any story from your experience? I would share the questions in the chat box during time. And Marie, I would request you to take the question number 1. What in your opinion are the 3 top leadership qualities that every leader should consciously possess? So Marie, when the breakout rooms will occur, then you can take the question number 1. Dia, I would request you to take the question number 2. And the breakout room, well, I will be dealing for the breakout room number 3. I'll be taking the question number 3 and 4. Rita, can you please break out room for me, please?
Mr. Rashada, have you joined any room? And also Mr. Karu, have you joined any room? Stranger. Ratika, have you joined any room? Ratika? Ratika, can you hear me? Have you joined any room?
Hello?
Hello? It seems that you are left out.
Yes, yes. No, no, not
Let
yet.
me
I have not joined any room.
let me see. Let me assign you to a room, okay? No worries.
Yeah. Okay. Okay.
I'll assign you to room 1. Still here? Okay, good. Oh, Mr. Jules, you are late. Hello, can you hear me? Hi, can you hear me? Yeah, I will assign you to a room, okay? For discussion. Hi. Hello, can you hear me? 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 Hello. Hello, are you outside? Mr. Juhas? Miss Juhas? Miss Juhas? Hi, Miss Juhas. This is Rita. How are you doing? Hello? Hello? Hi, Miss Juha. Can you hear me? Hello, Miss Juha. Can you hear me? Hi, Miss Juha. Can you hear me? Hi. Hi, Miss Juhas. Can you hear me? Miss Juhas?
Hello,
Uh,
everyone.
Hi.
Hi.
Sorry.
Good to see you all back in here.
Actually, Hamza is still speaking. Maybe we will ask Hamza to share from our side.
Yeah,
I think I also had the same experience. Alvin was explaining something, so I think Alvin can represent our team in this case.
All right, that's great. That's great. We've got some another jewels in our team anyway. Same here. All right, so as Dia was saying that Alvin could represent Dia's room, so we can start with Alvin. We can summarize the discussion, please, Alvin.
Should I start where I'm telling?
Yeah, is Dia's call? Dia, he wants to start where he was left.
So Alvin was actually explaining his situation towards a leader who is lacking of the I have to stop. Sorry, I have to stop sharing, right? How can I stop sharing? Did you see my
Screen?
screen? No, right?
No, we cannot see.
Okay, all right. Okay, that's good. Sorry, I was about to say that Alvin was explaining about a leader who is lacking one of the characteristics that he prefers, but at the same time, there are more than 3 characteristics that our team was actually ending up. So I think I would like to have Alvin in this case again to wrap up all. What would be the characteristic that are essential, that is mostly repeated by the team members, but you can also share your opinion in this case.
Okay,
Yes,
thank you.
Alvin.
Okay, the mostly repeated the factors that were presented by the teammates here, that is really communication, the ability to delegate, and the integrity they have talked about. And some of the factors like respect and influence, as my aspects, I can share. Like the definitely delegation is definitely important, because if you don't know which person to give with the accurate work, which person is fit for the right place, so you don't have that good amount of quality in you to become a perfect leader, right? Because he might do a mistake because he's not perfect in that position. So the ability to delegate is very important. And the second thing is communication. In my case, in my aspect, communication is the first thing that everyone should come up, because if you are a if you need to be a good leader, if you have to be a good leader, if you have to be a good effective communicator, every with every individual in every teams, like you need to properly first you need to listen, then you need to speak of what your teammates are trying to say, or they're trying to uh, communicate with you. So you need to first listen, and then you have to reply with that as well. And that reply should be good and effective. Like they don't need to ask once again, so what are you telling? What are you telling me? They don't need to do that. Just they will understand what you're saying. So that the communication should be very important in this case. And respect, some of the people were talking about respect. So yeah, that respect is definitely important. Like we not in the team, the in our families and our societies and everywhere we deal with people, we should also consider respect as an important factor. Because if you're aggressive with your behavior, if you are unethical in your words, if you use abusive languages, that they don't come with a good positive side as a leader. So they must that should be a good case. And the influencing part, like as I faced, as I'm telling in that session, that I have faced a leader who has lackings in the influencing part, because the mistakes I did, he didn't. He just accused me, blamed me that I did the wrong, and I don't have the right to do the wrong. But he didn't show me the positive side to what I can do to recover my mistakes and what I can do in the next future that the mistakes won't happen again. So it doesn't have any influencing side, the lacking. So in my opinion, influencing, communication, and the ability to delegate and the respects are the most important factors that a leader must have in him or her to in order to develop the leadership skills in him or her. So this is what I can come up. Thank you.
That's great, great. Thank you, Alvin. That was a great discussion came up from your mind as well. So I would request you to pass on the summary discussion that you had from the room to me. If it is possible, I will give you my number as well. So I'll have to pass this to our main section for a summarized discussion for today's session as well. Thank you. Thank you, Alvin. Marie, anything from your team? Hello, Marie.
Hello, yes,
Yeah,
yes,
yeah.
from our team. Actually, each of the team members has so the question for our team is, what are the top 3 qualities that a leader should consciously possess? So number 1 on our list is honesty and integrity. Okay, that is the number 1. The second one actually is more on we have here from Cecilia, honesty and ethics, good communication and business sense. Shared from Komrul, honesty and integrity, being a good person, having a good attitude, and being a good subordinate. From Hamza, honesty, integrity, empathy, and decision making. So mostly from myself, okay, I think the qualities of a good leader that consciously possess should be honesty, the same honesty, integrity, being a visionary, and a excellent work ethics. And then Hamza is actually sharing a story about a leader whom he worked with before who possesses these qualities. So I would like to give the floor to Hamza to share his experience. Hi, Hamza.
Hello, how are you doing?
Hamza, yes, Mr. Hamza, how are you?
Yeah, I am doing great. I'm doing great. Thank you. Thank you very much. I'm doing excellent. As Zakir, you know the name very well, Ranjan De Silva. I was actually discussing about that charismatic man. He is uh, sort of like we can say an idol. Uh, he is being discussed in many organizations, different type of business organizations too. Many of us we know him in Bangladesh. I used to know him a little bit in from when I was in the UK as well. When I was very young, I couldn't attend one of his sessions because of my age, and at that time, my position was not that high. Anyway, what I was discussing about the time when I got him as CEO, I was lucky enough to work with him, and I have learned many things about leadership, like his honesty, integrity, his vision, his the way of leading his team, making them believe in themselves, and very importantly, the empathy. And what he did, he turned around and losing concern to a great success story. And he did it in only 3 years. And he was able to acquire many other different businesses as well. So that success story I was actually sharing with 5 of us, and actually he is the person to watch, get the example, and to um, follow the footprint and be a leader which you may like to be yourself. So that was what I was sharing with my team. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Hamza. Thank you, Murray. That was a wonderful session from your team as well. Thank you. And for myself, my team was got with Mr. Shamim, Mr. Salimullah, Mr. Aminul Haq, and Mr. Elias Mia. Okay, and including me. So we've got 2 questions. That actually the question was 2 straightforward. Number 3 and number 4. That was the being a leader and having leadership qualities. Are these the same? So everyone actually replied no. No. So that was a very straightforward answers we've got. So I'll definitely give a short summary on that. And also number 4 is, can you comment how the top 3 qualities relate the top 3 behavioral aspects of leadership? So the top 3 leadership qualities that came up as honesty and integrity, decision capabilities, and inspiration. Only the human being can become the leader, not the lions or not the animal kingdom from them. So I think its behavioral approach is come out first to show up the qualities a leader got, and that's very imperative. So yeah, that's the discussion sessions we have today, and I think that was one of the great sessions we had just today on leadership. And thank you, Dia, Marie, Rita. Thank you once again. Thank you, guys. We have some great discussions seen from Dia. And I believe everyone have enjoyed it because the questions were too insightful as well. And I'm looking forward to see all of you in my next month session on some different topic. I'll let you know in make some comment from Rita as a closing speech, and also Mr. Rashidul Hassan. Mr. Rashidul Hassan is here. Hello, Rashid. It's great to see you here.
Hello,
Hi.
Zakir. Hi.
Hi, Mr. Rashid.
Hi, Mary. Hi, Rita.
Hi, nice
It's
to
a
see
it's
you.
a great
you?
and my pleasure to join here. Though I joined lately, but enjoyed last part of the session. It was really great session.
Yeah.
Thank
Shall
you.
we?
Thank you. Rashid is actually in his village, and we had a very wonderful day out on the last Friday. It was on 12th March, including all of the members of FMCG Society. There together 40 members. So many of the members have joined today is actually from FMCG Society, and I was talking with Mr. Rashid, the Society, and the core committee members of AsiaHRM, and he has really gladly accepted it. And we'll have some updates and a possible schedule for making the meeting happen in due course of time. Yes, Rashid?
Right. Inshallah. Right. Inshallah, we will meet soon in a Zoom meeting, and after discussing with my teammates, other EC members, we'll inform you through Zakir.
Thank you. Thank you. Rita,
Thank you, Mishra.
want to say
Yeah,
something as a closing note?
No, actually, I think we all have a great meeting, and thank you, Dia, and also as a guest speaker, and Jackie, and also the other friends here who's helping to make this meeting great. And before we close the session today, shall we take a group picture? And everybody
Yes,
show their
please.
face.
Can you please turn on your videos, please? That would be great help.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey.
Muhammad Aminul, Elias, Mr. Elias, Ritika, Kalena, Mr. Shamim, Rashid, Mr. Julhas Bhai. Can you please turn on the videos, your videos, then I can take a very good picture.
Okay.
Well, on my count of 2, you can say the 3.
3.
Right, 1, 2, 3. Yeah.
One more.
One more.
Ritika is joining us.
Just joining.
shall we-
Ritika,
yeah,
can you please
shall
turn on
we-
your video?
Yeah, shall we
Just
wait for
another.
her? Yeah,
Ritika, can you please turn on your video? Camera, please.
1, 2, 3.
3.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, have a very good evening. Thanks.
Thank you,
everybody.
Thank you very
everyone.
much.
Okay,
Thank
bye-bye.
Thanks
you,
for
everyone.
joining. We'll
Bye-bye.
see you in the
Thank
next
you,
session.
everyone.
Bye-bye.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye bye.